This is the plank. It's one of the best core exercises that you can do. But a lot of people do this plank way before they should. They don't have the strength or the coordination to be able to hold this position without maybe risking hurting their lower back. Well, the good news is that's what we love to do at WeShape. Show you different variations of an amazing movement just like this that are appropriate for you. Because the reality is most people do movements that are too difficult and they go too hard, too fast. And what we want you to do instead is find the right variation of each movement for you so that you can gradually gain strength and coordination safely, which will help you strengthen your core and protect your lower back rather than cause you to hurt it. So today, I'm gonna go through beginner, intermediate, and advanced variations of the plank that you can follow along to. And the thing that you're gonna wanna focus on is, can you do each version for 60 seconds with perfect form? If you can do it for 60 seconds with perfect form, then you can go up to the next variation and start building volume slowly until you're able to do that one with perfect form for 60 seconds. And eventually, if you're consistent with this, you'll be able to go all the way to this plank and some of the even more advanced variations I'll show you at the very end of this video, okay? So to start out with, for complete beginners, we're gonna focus on a simple move. It's called the seated thigh plank. Okay? Now this is really helpful because this is gonna serve as the foundation of teaching you how to activate some muscles inside your core and inside your torso here that so many people neglect to activate when they're doing a plank. And these muscles are gonna keep you safe. They're gonna make the movements a little harder, but you'll get stronger, safer, and it'll actually help you graduate through these variations a lot faster. So, coming to the edge of a chair, take a little bit of a wide stance and turn your toes out slightly. From there, you're gonna take your palms, you're gonna put them on top of your knees just like this. Now what we're gonna do here is this. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears and press the hands into the knees. So I'm pushing my hands down like this into the knees. And what you'll immediately feel is this. All these muscles underneath your armpits right here, all the way down into your core, okay? Those muscles will be firing like crazy. So we wanna activate the muscles right there and the ribs, the lats up there, all these muscles even on the back side of the body, because remember your core isn't just these muscles, these show muscles right here. Your core is everything that wraps around your torso. So what we're gonna work on is, can we hold this position and generate tension in the lats, the serratus, the core muscles for 60 seconds? At first, you're gonna generate tension, you're probably gonna fatigue pretty fast. That's okay, just rest, shake it out, and maybe try to accumulate 60 seconds over the course of a few minutes with rest in between. Once you're able to go 60 seconds where you're squeezing those muscles the entire time, then we can move to the next variation. Just remember this feeling as you go through every variation of the plank because it's critical for you to do this the right way and gain the most strength from it. Now the next variation, you just need a wall, all right? So what we're gonna do for this variation is turn our hands to the outside to protect our wrists and take a step away from the wall, usually about a foot or two away from the wall. The closer we are to the wall, the easier this will be. The further we are away from the wall, the harder this will be, okay? In this position, now we're gonna focus on the pelvis because this is one of the things that most people do wrong in the plank. They either stick their butt out like this, arching their lower back, or they let their hips come forward like this, arching their lower back. And when we arch the lower back, what happens? We pinch the nerves in our lower back, which can cause lower back pain, sciatica, SI joint pain, hip pain, numbness, all kinds of things can happen because of this particular issue. So instead of sticking our butt out or letting our hips sag down like this, I want you to imagine squeezing the glutes and imagine you're taking your tailbone and trying to point it towards the ground like this, okay? Now hold that the entire time. Once you've found your pelvic position, press your hands into the wall and try to activate your lats the same way you just did in the seated chair plank, right? We're gonna push the hands down into the wall like this to be able to activate those muscles. So once you have those two areas, the glutes and the pelvis, and the arms and the lats, you should feel your core firing like crazy. Now work up, just like I said before, to 60 seconds holding the position with good form while maintaining a good amount of tension in both your glutes and your lats by pressing against the wall. Now once you're able to do that, we're gonna make the plank a little harder by changing the angle of the plank. Because when we change the angle of the plank, we put more load on the torso, which makes it more challenging. It's one of my favorite ways to slowly scale up the difficulty of a movement. And the way to do this is with a chair. So find yourself a nice sturdy chair. Should be something where you put your hands on it and push. It's not gonna slide out on you like this, okay? And if you need to, you can push it up against a wall, or you can use a countertop, a dresser, something that's really nice and sturdy, okay? Be smart when you're practicing these movements. Now you're gonna put your hands on top of the chair like this, come back into the plank, squeeze the glutes, tuck the pelvis, and this time you're gonna press down on the chair, just like we were pressing down on the knees and the wall, right? And we're gonna try to generate that tension in the lats and the torso. For me, what I like to imagine is this, pulling my hands down like this. That helps generate that tension that we're after, okay? So glutes, tension, and work on holding this position now for up to 1 minute. Now, if you're working your way to 1 minute, you're able to do it with good form, holding a decent amount of tension. Flip the chair around, come to the low chair position. So now you can see my angle is up here. Now my angle comes down to here, puts more load on the core, makes it more challenging for us. Same thing, hands on the chair, glutes, lats and core, and see if we can hold that for 60 seconds. Now, like I mentioned, this might make the plank harder for you. You might actually have to go from the plank I showed you at the beginning to a more beginner variation in order to properly fire these muscles and hold your body in a good position. That's okay. I believe that you should take a couple steps back sometimes to build a really strong foundation so you can take 10 or 20 steps forward. And that's something that happens in the fitness industry. We get caught up in doing too much too fast. We take one step forward, we hurt ourselves, we get burned out, we take one step backwards. And then we take one step forward and one step backward. We get caught in this game and we never end up going anywhere. So sometimes you gotta take steps backwards in order to go forwards, all right? Now that you've done the low chair version of the plank, let's come back over to the mat. I'm gonna show you 2 different variations on the mat. Then I'm gonna show you a couple more advanced variations that are gonna make it even more challenging for you, all right? So an intermediate variation of the plank now is to do this plank on the floor, just like we did on the chairs. So squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, pull the hands now. I'm pulling my hands backwards like this towards my thighs to generate that tension in my core. I'm here, I'm gonna work on holding this for 60 seconds. Once I can do that, now we're gonna change the angle one more time, and we're gonna do this move that we started with, which is the plank on the elbows. So now I'm in that full angle, pull the elbows back, and I'm gonna get that full tension that I wanted in my core from the very beginning, all right? Now, if you can hold this for 60 seconds, focusing on form, the way to make this harder now is to make the position more challenging, right? So we went from an upright position to a horizontal position, but now our arms are in front of us, and the way to make this more challenging is to bring our arms further up above us. So I'll show you a couple variations of that real quick. These are the more advanced variations. So to start, instead of doing a plank with your hands right in front of your face, let's do a plank where your elbows are in alignment with your forehead. So now our body's extended like this. Same thing, we wanna push the hands down, generating lat tension, and squeeze the glutes. Once you can hold that for 60 seconds, now we're gonna bring the arms out even further, all right? And every time we bring the arms out further, we make the plank more challenging. We come out further, we try to hold them where our forehead's even beyond our elbows, right? And if we can hold that for 60 seconds, and we go out even further, and we get to the point where our entire body is just hovering barely above the rug, and it's so challenging for us to hold that position. So as you can see, you can do a plank no matter who you are or where you're starting from, but you should be doing the right plank variation for you. And today, I hope you got plenty of plank variations to practice. And remember, gradually, over time, as you start to hold these for 60 seconds with good form, you can scale up to the next variation. And when you do that, you'll gain strength and coordination safely, and your body will love you for it. Hey, if you want to work out where every movement is the right movement for you, meaning it's the right level for your individual body, then check out WeShape. You can try our workouts out for free by clicking the link below. Otherwise, if you want more core moves, watch this video right here.